Hi, so in the area I work, around about the end of June to the start of July every year, we tend to get a lot of calls, and the content of those calls is often very similar. So it's always something along the lines of, I had a gardener, but he's decided that it's not for him anymore. Or I had a gardener, but it appears he's stopped showing up, and I can't get in touch with him. And what's happening is a lot of those gardening businesses that start up every year, around about this point in the year, for whatever reason, tends to be the time when a lot of them either stop or people decide it's just not for them anymore. And a lot of those businesses close around about June, July every year. Now, what we like to try and do is to try and take on as many of those gardens as we can. Obviously, we're already busy and we have to squeeze things into the schedule, maybe work a bit later. But the reason we do that is because, well, if I'm honest, it can make me a bit sad when you're driving past these properties and, you know, you start to see them overgrown and you think, well, you know, you don't want to leave people without. But I think it's more sad the fact that we lose so many people at this time of year. Now, there is a financial aspect to that, and certainly people who've not been charging correctly. I think maybe this is the first point in the year where a big piece of equipment breaks or something happens and they've got an extra cost. And that can be a bit of a realization point. But there's another aspect there that's little spoken about and for people who aren't gardeners, often little understood. Now, I think this is best illustrated when I talk to people and tell them I'm a gardener, what the reaction often is. If I'm honest, their reaction is something along the lines of, "Oh, you're a gardener, that's my dream job. It's such a relaxing job. Oh, I'd love to be in gardens all day long." And there is a kind of misconception built into that because people think that working as a gardener is the same as doing your own garden. It's the same kind of feeling, the same kind of relaxing aspect and intensity. When the reality is that working as a gardener is very, very different from working in your own garden. Working as a gardener it's a very physical profession. And a lot of people don't realise that. There is a strain on your body every day that you do this. Every gardener has a story of 1 or 2 seasons where they've had a bad injury and they've had to keep working through. Every gardener has stories of that week or so where they felt burnt out and exhausted and they had to keep going. And you may ask yourself, well, if it's this physically challenging, why do people do it? And if I'm honest, I wake up some mornings still and I think to myself, why did I choose to do this crazy job? The simple question is, do you have something else there other than the monetary aspect that's driving you to do this? What do I mean? Well, for me, I love gardening. This is my whole life. I absolutely love plants. I love the science around plants. And I love the feeling of doing a good job. For me, for example, when we did a garden clear out the other day, this guy came out of his house and it was this wonderful old chap, and he'd been widowed, he'd fallen on a bit of a hard time. His garden had really got out of control and it got away from him, and you could tell it was getting him down. And we worked our socks off. We filled so many ton bags getting that garden absolutely cleared and back to standard. And he came out of his house and he said to us, "My garden looks so much better now." Now that feeling to me makes it worthwhile. And that's what drives me. But what you'll find is with pretty much everyone who's in this for the long run and wants to be doing this, there's something other than the monetary aspect there that's driving us. There's a love of gardening, yes, but there's something other there that drives us to do this. And the question is, if you want to be a gardener, have you got that? Have you got something other than money that's driving you to do this? If you have, then you're going to have the motivation to get through those hard times, to get through the more physical times that this job is going to present you with. If you haven't, then you may be one of the ones who ends up stopping in June and July. You're never going to be a millionaire doing this. You might earn a good living, you'll never be a millionaire. There has to be something other there. Anyway, if you can share below in the comments section for me what it is for you that drives you to be a gardener, and what keeps you going in those points where you feel a bit tired or where you've got a bit of an injury, let me know. That'd be good to share. Thanks. Cheers, guys.